Hello, my name is Sumit Vangaramani and I'm currently pursuing computer science engineering in Bennett University. So, the topic for our automata assignment presentation is closure properties of context free language. So, let us begin. So, the content for this presentation would be explaining about CFL context free grammar, hierarchy of other languages, and also the main heart of this presentation would be the closure properties of CFL, which are like union, concatenation, clean closure, intersection, deterministic, CFL. So let me first explain you about what is a language. Language is defined as a set of strings of symbols constrained by a specific rule. So these constitute the grammar of the language, and so the grammar is used to generate this language. Similarly, the English language comprises of groups of letters like words separated by spaces, punctuations, etc. So a valid sentence in language must follow the rules of the grammar. Now let me tell you about the context-free language or CFL. It is a language which is generated by context-free grammar or also known as type 2 grammar. And the context-free language is accepted by the push-down automata, and regular language are the subset of context-free language. So as we know, context-free grammar is a subset of context-free language. So the rule for context-free grammar is as follows. A is a non-terminal which implies lambda, which is a string of terminal and non-terminals. And CFL, context-free language, is a tuple of context-free grammar, and the tuple consists of VTPS. V stands for finite set of non-terminal vocabulary, T stands for finite set of terminal letters like ABC, small abcd, P stands for finite set of rewriting rules called productions, and S stands for sentence symbol. And here I have shown an example in which a tuple of context-free grammar is given so that we can calculate the context-free language, string of context-free language. So here the values of VTP is defined and S we are finding it out, and here we have found out the value of S. So now I will tell you the hierarchy of other languages, which is shown in the figure below. It is also known as Chomsky hierarchy. A computational model accepts a language as input if it runs through the model and ends in an acceptable final state. And these hierarchy have applications in computer science and linguistics, such as natural language processing and computer language design. So now let's move on to closure property. So how can we tell that a set or a language satisfy closure property? So for any set to be a closed set, with respect to the set of operation, the output of the operation should be in the set. So this means that if we perform an operation on an object or in a language, the output of that language should also be in that language. So now as we know what is a CFL and what is meant by closure property, now let us see the closure property of CFL which are closed and which are not closed. The closure property of CFL which are closed is under union, concatenation, clean closure, reversal, homomorphism, and inverse homomorphism. And the properties which are not closed under CFL is intersection and difference. So in this presentation we are going to see three CFL closure properties of CFL which are closed under, that is union, concatenation, and clean closure, and two properties which are not closed under, intersection and difference. So the first closure property which we will be seeing is union, and union is closed under CFL. So let us take the languages L1 and L2, which are context-free language with their grammars G1 and G2 respectively. So as the closure property union is closed under CFL, the L1 union L2 will also be a context-free language. And let us take L1 L2 as language and G1 and G2 their grammar. So their start symbol would be S1 and S2. So after combining the value, all the symbols, there would be a new grammar for L1 union L2, and there will be a new start variable S, which would be S such that S1 slash S2. And in this new grammar, all derivations start with S, and the first step replaces S by S1 and S2, which will cover all the predictions in L1 and L2. So now let us look at the example of union closure property. We have given two languages, L1 and L2. L1 is a language in which there is same number of A's and B's, which is represented by A raised to n and B raised to n. L2 is a language in which the start symbol and end symbol are same, which is represented by W raised to R. So if you want to find the union of L1 and L2, you could find by using the S such that S1 slash S2, which would be which would include both the definitions of S1 and S2 and would give the union of language 1 and language 2, which would be also a CFL. So now let us move on to the next property, which is concatenation. So in this, if you have given L1 L2 as a context-free language, then the L1 dot L2 also would be a context-free language as it's closed under the CFL. So let us consider G1 and G2 grammars given to us, and L1 and L2 the language which is context-free, and so their start symbols would be S1 and S2. So for the new grammar for L1 and L2 would be formed by starting with all the symbols, and the new start symbol would be S, and it would be defined as S such that S1 dot S2. So in conclusion, we can tell that L1 dot L2 would be closed, and so it would be a context-free language. So now I will explain you an example of concatenation. So again we have given two languages, L1 and L2, as similar to the languages given in union. So let L1, the language L1 consists of same number of A and B's, which is represented by A raised to n and B raised to n. In language L2, the start symbol and end symbol would be same, which is represented by W raised to R. And so for concatenation we would calculate by dotting S1 and S2, so it would be closed under CFL. So now let's move on to the next closed property under CFL, clean closure property. In this, let us take language L, which is a context-free language. Then L star would also be a context-free language. The meaning of star here means that there would be the language or number of symbols would repeat n times. So for the new grammar for L star will be G, and let us take the start symbol S1, and the new start symbol for L star would be S such that S1 S slash epsilon. So with this we can create many number of outputs. So if S is taken as epsilon, the output would be S1, which would be the original language. So let us see the example for clean closure property. So if we have L1 as A raised to n, B raised to n, let us take n equals to 1, so we will get a better idea. If L is AB, then the first S1 will be AB. So if you want to repeat it once and then we will take S as epsilon, then we will get the output as S1. And if you want to repeat it twice, we take S1 as S first and then epsilon twice. So now we have seen some examples of property that CFL is closed under. So now we have seen all the closed under properties of CFL. Now we are gonna see the properties which are not closed under CFL, for example intersection and complement. So first let us see what is a property which is not closed under. So it is simple to see whether the property is not closed under. So if a property is closed under, then all the languages will satisfy the property. If any one of the language does not satisfy the property of the set, then it is known as not closed under property of that property. So now let us see the intersection property. if L1 and L2 are context free language, then L1 and L1 union L2 would not be necessarily context free. So this we will prove with the help of an example. Let us take L1 as a raised to n, b raised to n, c raised to m. This means that there is same number of a's and b's and any number of c's, and L2 as a raised to n, b raised to m, and c raised to m. This means there would be same number of b's and c's and any number of a's. So the intersection of these two languages would be a raised to n, b raised to n, and c raised to n. So as we have studied that in context free we can do a comparison of only two values together, as there is only one stack present with us, as shown in the diagram before. So this would be a non-context free, as there is more comparison between more than two values. So now I will move on towards the complement property. In this, we have given L1 is a context free language, but L1 complement must not, it is not necessary that L1 can be a context free too. So this we will explain with the help of an example. So let me take an example to explain the complement property. Here we have taken the same languages which we took in the intersection property. L1 is a raised to n, b raised to n, c raised to m, and L2 is a raised to n, b raised to m, and c raised to n. So here, as we are taking the complement of the intersection, so L1 complement union L2 complement, the whole complement is equal to L1 union L2. So this is a basic set property which we have learned in our higher education. So now as the left hand side which is in the complement equation, the value in the left hand side which is in the complement is context free language, and its complement on the right hand side, the L1 union L2 is non-context free. Therefore with these equation we can prove that L1 union L2 is non-context free, and so the complement value of L1 complement union L2 complement is not context free. So this was all about the complement properties, and therefore it is not closed under. So this was all about closure properties of context free language and hierarchy of other language, which I have explained in my video. Hope you have understood all the things that I have explained in the video, and thank you very much for watching the video.